Well, I just finished shooting for the first time my Valmet M62S tube stock. As you can see, it's got the cheese grater handguards, the Michelin Man or bicycle grip as you call it, and a metal tube stock here. Not a speck of wood on the gun. Sling is made of leather, reindeer hide I believe. This is an early sling swivel with the two notches. Correct Valmet mag with the lanyard of loop. Milled receiver, of course, like all M62s, and in 7.62x39 like all M62s. It does have the flip night sights in the front and the back. Only about 200 of the actual tube stock military styles came in. Just a nice gun. I mean, it's probably the pinnacle of the AK. Nothing just super outstanding or unique by modern standards, just very good craftsmanship. Kind of a unique look. It's a lot. These handguards are a lot more comfortable than they look. The pistol grip is pretty narrow, but it's kind of interesting. It has a metal sleeve inside to keep it strong. Takes standard AK mags. I've noticed the mags look very much like Polish. I'm not sure. I think they just copied them because Finland purchased quite a bit of AK stuff from both Poland and Russia. But thought we would share this one. M62S, Valmet. Shoots fine. It's an AK. 3-prong flash hider, bayonet lug. I think most all of the Valmets imported had those. Good. And next up for Valmet, we have an M76S. This is a 7.62x39 model, fixed tube stock. I do have a Fisker's bayonet on the end. They did not bring in many of these. I'm going to say less than 200, maybe 150. I've never seen a firm number, but not many. It's essentially an upgraded version of the M62. In the early 70s, Valmet began experimenting with stamped receivers. As you can tell, this one is a stamped receiver. The first version was the M71. A few hundred, maybe 1,000, were purchased by the Finnish Defense Forces. They weren't found satisfactory for a number of reasons. So they went back to the M62 design and kind of retrofitted it with this stamped receiver, which is a reinforced version of the original M71. They kept the tube stock more or less unchanged. The pistol grip, as you can see, is more of a traditional style. It's not the bicycle type on the M62. The handguards also are a more traditional shape, and they do now cover the gas tube, which is probably a good thing. The sight protectors back here are larger. It still has the flip-up night sights. Same 3-prong flash hider with bayonet lug. Same 16.5-inch barrel. No Valmet ever had a chrome line barrel. These M76s were imported pretty well en masse into the USA. The most common are probably your 223s, then your 308s, and then your 7.62x39s. You see wood stocks, you see folding tube stocks, you see fixed plastic stocks. They brought in quite a few different models. This has a early Finnish waffle mag, the green kind, used in the late 80s, early 90s, mid 90s. You see them mostly with the RK 95 TPs, but I put it in this one because the whole name of this game, when they did this gun, they were trying to lighten it up. If the M62/S was a clone of the AK-47, the M76/S is a clone of the AKM. It is a good bit lighter. The handguards are lighter, the pistol grip's a little bit lighter because you don't have the metal inside. The receiver's lighter. Your internals are basically all the same though. I did quite a bit of research, and the RK62/7 M76 rifles that the FDF purchased had stamped receivers. A lot of places will say that they went to a milled. Everything I've found out says they were stamped, including from an actual Finnish armorer's brochure. So I'm going to say they were just a lot like this one. It has the same basic style of sling, but it has a late sling swivel here, the stamped kind. Pretty different looking from the one on the 62. And they pretty much use these, well, even through today. They still use some of the M62s today. They only purchased about 20,000 of the RK95s, and that of course is not enough to arm the entire FDF. They also purchased about 100,000 surplus rifles from East Germany, and about 100,000 surplus from China, Type 56s and whatnot, stamped guns. But they made about 300,000, 350,000 Valmets, Seiko and Valmet put together. And most of them are still in service today. You know, they've been retrofitted and they've been upgraded and changed, but you know, the core gun receiver, it's still in service. There's been talk about replacing it, but there's been funding issues and typical stuff that militaries are facing in the post-Cold War era. I just thought I'd share this M76 and 7.62x39 because there aren't many out there. Before today, I do not think this one had ever been fired. But it's been fired now. I don't see much reason to own a gun and at least not test it out a few times. It shot well, shot as well as the M62. And the bayonet's kind of neat. It slides on. Turn around. It's kind of patterned on the VZ58 bayonet, but it goes on this way instead of that way like on a VZ. It's basically used as a combat knife. Fits in this scabbard here. This scabbard, just like the slings, is made of reindeer hide. Button holds it in, and it just goes on someone's belt, which I'm not wearing today, so it'll go in a pocket. Anyway, I thought I would share my Valmet rifles. That's it. Well, while we were doing the two Valmet rifles, I decided to go ahead and bring out my Valmet pistol. This is an L35 Lahti. It was developed by Valmet Lahti, same person who developed the M39 anti-tank rifle and the M31 KP31 Suomi. It's a tank of a pistol. It's a very large gun. Very large grip. Very smooth trigger. This, of course, is a Finnish version. It has the VKT on the grips, but it has Valmet on the top here. It was one of the ones made immediately after World War II. It still has the loaded chamber indicator up here. It still has the bolt accelerator in here. I don't think you can see it, but it has the bolt accelerator. As you can see, it pulls back. Very interesting mechanical design, the way that uses a very Luger style magazine, very tapered. Has a safety here, toggle type. It's kind of nice when you grip it. You'll definitely know the safety's on because it gets the web of your finger. You can push it off easily. I'm not going to say this was a great pistol. It really wasn't. It was expensive to make. It wasn't terribly reliable with lightly loaded 9mm, while at the same time it didn't stand up too well to the 9mm ammunition used in the Suomi submachine gun. So it was just kind of in between. On the other hand, as I said, it has a bolt accelerator, so it's really good at firing in the if you have the right ammo in it. It's very good at handling Arctic conditions, desert conditions. It's very good at climate. It's just a solid steel gun. The only thing that's not are, of course, the Bakelite grips. I'm going to say about 9,000, maybe a tad more of these were made. They were used in limited numbers during the Winter War, and in greater numbers during the Continuation War. And a lot stayed in service well into the 50s, 60s, 70s even. with the Finnish Defense Forces. I think they were mostly well liked because of being a truly Finnish pistol, made in Finland, designed in Finland, built the way the Finns like things, lots of milled steel. Interestingly, about 600 of these were even sent over to Israel during the 50s. This particular one was imported by Inner Arms in the late 50s. I have 3 magazines with it, a leather holster, a loading tool, and the full kit. It's just an interesting historical pistol.
Yeah.
It's just not...
There you go.
Shot down.